And we're live. Whoops. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Thursday night, the live stream. Should just call it the live stream. So welcome to coming hanging out, talking about guitar stuff, Q&A. We got some excellent questions from the internet. If you want to submit a question for next week's live stream, please just put it in the comment section. And we will get to it next week. So there you go. I mean, if you're watching it and if you have a question that you don't think of when you're watching it later or whatever.
So you're checking comments?
Yeah.
That's new.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, you were off last week. We're trying to kind of fine tune how we're doing things to get some new voices in here and new, people that haven't ever asked anything before. So that's what we're doing. And so we've got a few cool questions that came in. And then if you have a guitar question tonight that you want to ask live on the live stream, you can just ask it in the chat, put a bunch of question marks in front of it, and Leslie will help you with that, or she'll catch it for you, and then we'll answer it.
Yeah, you don't want me to answer.
Tonight, we're going to talk about why I think it's cool when you buy from small companies. I've been thinking about this a lot. Just with a lot of stuff, not just guitar stuff, but anyway, we're going to apply it to guitar stuff tonight. A couple things. We have Black Friday sales going on right now at DylanTalksTone.com. If you go over there on the front page, you'll see them. There's a couple of things going on. We're giving away some free pots and caps and stuff with a couple of sets of pickups. And then the other thing we got going is we are doing some discounts on some custom parts. So if you want to have some custom engraving done on anything, that is heavily discounted right now, as well as we have a new pickup that came out last week, our Velo humbucker, which is kind of our version of a wide range, but it's in a regular size humbucker case. So you can go check that out. Video came out last week, and people have been buying the crap out of it. We've been making tons of those things. That's cool. So that's been pretty cool. And then the other thing is when you go to Dylan Talks Tone, or you just go scan that little thing right there, that'll take you to Dylan Talks Tone. You can submit your rig. So we're trying a thing. Nobody's done it yet. I'm hoping that it kind of catches on some steam. I understand that it's new. So what we're going to do is you scan right there. You'll go to Dylan Talks Tone and scroll down to the bottom, and you will see submit your rig. You can submit a picture of your guitar rig. Now, the criteria for this is not how good your rig is. It's not how fancy your guitar is, because we all have different stuff. It's how good the picture is. Like,
just presentation.
Yeah, like make it cool, or feature your dog, or I don't know what. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't matter. And then what we're going to do is if anybody submits one during the week this week, we're going to pick one internally and share it next week. And then at the end of, or the beginning of every month, we're going to probably do a little giveaway with kind of our favorite of the month. So just get over there and I haven't secured prizes or anything yet. I'm working on that. Maybe once people know what they get to win, maybe they'll want to do it some more because it's going to be cool stuff. So I'm working on that right now, trying to secure some of that stuff, but please do me a favor and, go over there and submit your rig. Submit a cool picture.
Hey.
Apparently he doesn't like something. So yeah, that's what I got. What do you got? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right. Well, then let's get into these questions over here on the side that came in from the interwebs. And then we'll get on to y'all's questions too. And we're going to talk about this subject here in a minute too. There it is.
First one is from Billy.
Hey, Billy.
Is there any real reason why the pickup wire colors aren't standardized? Like, for example, aftermarket car audio. The colors are always the same on the back of a head unit, no matter who makes it. Red equals 12 volt switched, yellow 12 volt constant, black equals ground, blue equals amp, turn on lead, etc. Just curious if anyone knows. Like every pickup has totally different arrangements of colors. Sometimes black is the output, sometimes it's red, sometimes it's white, etc. Just annoying to work with that all the time.
Yeah. So, what's interesting about that is car stereos did not always used to be that way. Car stereos were kind of random. And in the mid to late 80s and early 90s, Crutchfield really standardized that whole idea of colors because they made these universal harnesses. And so what they were more into, of course they sold stereos, but that as their kind of thing was to make these universal harnesses. Well, there isn't really a thing with that. With guitar stuff, nobody's ever really kind of standardized that. I would say the closest to it would be Seymour Duncan. But even our stuff is opposite of Seymour Duncan. The reason we have the color codes that we have is because I was working with a company years ago and we developed a wiring kit and a pickup kit together. And we just so happened to land on what we landed on. But that is why we do two things. One is when you buy pickups from us, we give you the wiring color codes and stuff, and some wiring diagrams that you can use. And then the other thing, well, I guess that's the main thing. I did have another thing, but I just forgot it. What's the other thing we do to help with that? Oh, is we constantly try to teach about that. We try to make video content about start and finish and start and how a humbucker works so that we have videos on that so that you can learn the concept behind the pickup. That way it doesn't matter what the colors are. If you understand how a pickup works, then you don't have to worry about what color it is. And so that's why we try to do that too. That's a good question though. I think everybody should do it the way I do it. I'm just kidding.
Dean, why do you solder the seams of the shield if the adhesive is conductive?
Great point. So, the shielding that we use when we use it, I don't use it very often, but when we use it, is got conductive glue on the back of it. And so what he's talking about is we just overlap it and it makes it to where you have a constant shield going all the way across your pick guard. The reason I put a dot of solder on it is two reasons. Well, the reason I say that in a video is two reasons. One is because I put it in a video because you don't always know whether you have that or not. Not all copper shielding tape is created equal. So to be safe, just put a dot of solder on it. The other reason is some folks have a worry that the glue over time will lose its conductivity, which I do not believe to be true because it's just a liquid that is conductive. But just so that people feel better about what they're doing and have confidence in what they're doing, I just tell people to solder it. It's not actually needed, but I just, in the interest of making everybody comfortable with what we're doing, I just tell them to put a little dot on there. Yep.
Fabrizio,
I bet he smells good.
Fab. Such a great content, dude. I really enjoy the balance with the 33 capacitor. How am I supposed to say that?
Okay. I don't know. He probably doesn't. Maybe he's not English first language.
0.33 capacitor. I don't know. I want to change the pots on my telly with a P90 in the neck and single coil in the bridge. I am considering going for a 500K and 0.33 or 0.47 capacitor. What would you suggest?
I would suggest what you're doing is correct. I would say if it was mine, I would put a 33 or a 47. It depends. It depends whose P90 you're using. If you're using my P90, I would say put a 33 in there. If you're using I would say put a 47 in there. If you're using somebody else's P90, I would say put a 33 in there because theirs is probably muddier than mine. So, yeah, I would put the fatter capacitor with my pickup in there. That way you have more tone knob to work with because you might need it. Putting the bridge with that tele bridge with that P90, it'll just give you a little more flexibility across the guitar. Heck yeah.
All right. That ends the ones from the beginning.
Okay. Before we get into our subject, is there any pressing matters over there?
Pressing?
Yes.
I don't know. There's a couple of questions, though, if you want to.
Yeah, let's do it.
Run through them. Timothy Ziegler. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, all. Okay. My opinion, you're damn right. Small companies are better. They can't afford to have a bad reputation. And also, small companies provide quality jobs generally.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you, I like that. I'm going to give you a few reasons why I want your opinion. Do you support smaller businesses versus bigger businesses when it comes to our hobbies like guitar stuff? Now, I'm going to give you my perspective on this, obviously, because we run a small business, but also I don't see anything wrong with buying from a big company for guitars, for example. I love having a Gibson. I love having a Fender. I think it's great. They are legacy brands that are awesome. But when it comes to other small parts that are any of it really, there is a case to be made for smaller builders. And I think that it's a healthy conversation to have. First of all, I'll just give you one. And then if we need to go back, I'll talk about one and then we'll check for questions. We'll do it like that. First of all, the biggest thing is that you get from a small business, if it's a reputable one, you get real expertise. Sometimes with bigger companies, especially when it comes to technical stuff, a lot of times you'll get like a Rolodex answer to questions or kind of a one size fits all sort of, because they have to, right? They just kind of have to appeal to a bigger audience. And so they just kind of have to give more of a boilerplate answer to various things or boilerplate solution to various things, right? So now when you talk to us, when you talk to smaller builders, a lot of times you're talking to the people that are actually making this stuff. They're doing it every day. If they run into a problem, they're like, hey, no, I just did this yesterday and I can walk you through it. Instead of going to the little flip book and it's like, if this happens, flip to here. If this happens, flip to here. And, like a call center kind of answer, you're getting real, and then the other thing is you're not getting marketing fluff. We as a small company have a lot less room for marketing fluff because we are so transparent. So we can't just say like, this is going to, this pickup is going to cure cancer. Well, we just can't do that because we're so small. You can see everything that we're doing and you just know that it's not going to cure cancer. So why would we even say that? So there's really a lot less reason for us to give you fluffy stuff that doesn't work. Reputation based, but also technical based. I don't want to give you an answer that's wrong, when you're trying to make your guitar better. So that's kind of the first thing, is that the level of expertise that you get and you have access to is different. As long as it's a good company, What do you think?
About real expertise?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Is there any other comments over there, or should I go on to number 2?
About expertise?
Or any addition to this conversation? I just want to keep catching up in between.
I don't know that anything specific to what you just said, so I think it's okay to.
Okay. Number 2 is you get access. You can't call Seymour Duncan and get him on the phone. You can't call Leo Fender. When it comes to that stuff, any small company, I'm sitting here looking, I've got that Three Rivers Manufacturing Atom pocket knife over there. And that's a real small company in Massachusetts. And I was having a little problem with it. And I was at a show, and a blade show, and I walked up to the guy, and he was the owner. And I said, "What do you think of this?" And he goes, "Oh, that's a problem. Send that in." Like just that access to have and then we talked for a little bit, but to have a real conversation with people that and so that's one of the things we try to do. And I always want to do this is, even if let's say we're huge, let's say we have 100 employees, which I never want. I always want to do this. I always want to give people a way to, like, where we can actually have a quote unquote, as best as possible, conversation about what we do, about how we do it, about, why we do things the way we do them, and a constant education. So the access, I think, is really important. And then the chat, like on the chat on the website, I always say that when you play with that little chat over down there on the bottom corner, you're actually getting me. Like, I'm the one that's messaging you back. Sometimes I wish I could have that with other companies. Like, I think about that with technical help that I get, or just a real person. We have that little AI like autofill thing, and 99% of the time I delete it and type my own thing. Every once in a while it will say exactly what I was going to say, and the more I do that, it does say exactly what I'm going to say. But the majority of the time I backspace it and I type my own words in there because it just feels better. I want the person on the other end to feel like they're not getting a AI bot talking to them, because they are at the point that it's still very AI bot feeling sounding. So it's learning, but it ain't there. So we want real access, anything over there yet that people want to add to it?
Charlie G01 says, when it comes to guitar parts, I prefer supporting small companies, but when it comes to my pacemaker, I want the big company.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. And to be honest with you, I'm the same way. There's certain things I don't want. Like, I like the fact that I have pocket knives, or I have a firearm, or I have a guitar, or I have whatever that was made in somebody's shop. Like, I think that's really cool, and their initials are engraved in it and stuff and whatever. That's really neat. But I don't know that I want my car that I have to depend on every day like that. I want the serviceability. I want the warranty. I want the, all that stuff. Safety, because it's a safety thing. I want my coffee pot to work. I don't know that I would want like a boutique vacuum cleaner. Like, there's certain things. I think part of it has to do with the relation to art, though. If where art crosses over with function, and you have this kind of and passion with it, that's where, how anybody except for maybe the Dyson guy. I have spoken to the Dyson guy. I could tell you a whole off-topic story about a conversation with the Dyson guy that invented the Dyson vacuum cleaner. He's very passionate about vacuum cleaners, but I'm not. So I don't really. If there's passion associated with something that I'm interested in, it's really cool to have a small business and have all this access and this communication and community and stuff. But if there's no passion needed, and it's a tire or a vacuum cleaner or a computer.
We also know a lot about passion and tissue.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The toilet, yeah, that's right. The facial tissue designer guy that we met.
Mm-hmm. Doc Stilton said, I love the fact that when I use smaller companies, I can interact directly with the person who owns the company, makes the products, or is otherwise personally invested in the products they make.
I like that too.
Old crackedated Dylan knows what he's doing when it comes to pickups.
Thank you. I try.
I wish I could like zoom in on pictures sometimes. Not all the time.
Sometimes you don't.
It's probably good that I can't. All right, what's next?
Customization. I like the fact that, and it's not with every small company, but I like the fact that there are more personalization options, that there are more
Or not even just customization all the time, right? Like smaller. You're not going to have the same T-shirt everybody has. Like,
right.
so it doesn't even have to be custom.
Oh,
Small
true.
batch maybe.
Yeah. True. It's more unique. Like
Yeah.
even if it's not custom, it's more unique.
Yes.
Yeah. Not everybody's. I always use the black strat with the white pickguard analogy. Like there's millions of those. If you want something more than a black strat with a white pickguard, you have to kind of
Right.
think about where it comes from. And
Yeah, even if you don't get to design it yourself though. Like
right.
there is I guess I was just thinking like there's lots of cool things
Exclusivity.
you have that you didn't get customized,
Right.
but they are unique.
Yeah.
Individual.
Mm-hmm. And it makes me feel like kind of special for having them, even
Right.
though I didn't actually customize it.
Right.
Yeah, I can think of
So
that
not
with
to take away from your point, but
no. So
I feel like those get,
I guess
yeah.
exclusivity is
Okay.
maybe more of a word. And some people don't care about that, but when you are trying to inspire art, and there is a feeling that comes along with that's powerful for that. I think that's really cool. The other thing is not being designed by a committee, where when you think about a lot of things that are designed, a lot of times the accountant has a lot of say in the engineering, where with a smaller company, even if everybody, we all have to take cost into account. There are certain pickups that we don't make because they're too expensive to make and they're not profitable enough. But so there are accounting decisions that need to be made. But for the most part, we have more freedom of movement when it comes to that. If we want to do something neat, we have a lot. It's a smaller ship to turn. Like, so if we want to make changes or upgrade things or redesign something or come out with a new design, it still takes a long time, but it doesn't take as long. The development cycle is a lot shorter. And we're a lot easy. We can move around a lot more because there's just less to worry about. Sometimes it kind of bites you in the butt because we don't have, I think of somebody like Curtis Novak, who has a lot of really crazy designs, really super cool, but he spends I've talked to him about this. He spends a lot of money on tooling because he invests in that to be unique, where I don't have the money for that. So we are limited in what we can make, and we have to figure out how to make, new and cool stuff. But it's still just me figuring it out, and we don't engineer. In the dirt bike days, we used to always talk about tuning things to a standstill. Like everybody would be like, well, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. And then the next thing you know, you're not going anywhere. So, and we would talk about that. Like you just tune on a carburetor, and either it's worse than when you started or it didn't help at all. And so I don't want to tune to a standstill, over designing and over analyzing everything. We want to make sure that we can, give you something really good every time we come out with something. And I think there's a lot of small companies that are really passionate about that. You can tell by how they present stuff and how they think about stuff. I think it's pretty neat.
Robot Shlomo says, you say, quote, designed by committee, and that just made me think of Yamaha. Their guitars just feel like they were made by guys in lab coats and not guitar builders.
So, okay, that's an interesting, I like what you said there, and here's why. Their guitars are very well engineered. Okay. you have to remember that is a Japanese company. They are going to approach things from a very over-engineered, there's still art in it, but it's going to be very engineered. There's a place for that. There is a place for that. I guess it just depends what your personal goal is. I have a couple of guitars that are extremely engineered. I have some carbon fiber guitars, and I have a couple of electric guitars that they've been over engineered to an inch of their life, and they're very cool, but I like them for a different reason than I like my Texas Toast Challenger over here that is a one-of-a-kind guitar made for me, or even my Les Paul that was made by some guys in Nashville. It's different than my carbon fiber acoustic guitar that was also made by a small company, but very, very engineered. So I think understanding that is helpful. I understand what you're saying. I personally am not going to dismiss a brand because it's over-engineered. But those guys, on the other hand, too, you get a lot of people in forums and stuff who think they know everything about guitars. And you're like, I mean, the guys with the pocket protectors get paid a lot of money because they're real smart and they know stuff and they can figure stuff out and they can do the math, right? So the engineering part of it, yes, it does introduce a bit of sterility sometimes, but it's usually still really good. And Yamaha's a good example of that. Yeah. That's a good one, though. And then the last one I have on my list for positive stuff, we're going to talk about negatives too, but if we have time. But the last positive thing is that you're supporting a craftsman and the community connection that comes from it. I think about, there's a couple of knife companies that I order from time to time, and they'll do these YouTube videos, and it's like, I started this in my garage and we built this barn, and then it got bigger, and then my kids were working here, and now my wife quit her job and she's working here, and now we have 15 people and they all have families, and next thing you know, you're supporting, and I've watched somebody like I think of like Lucky Dog Guitars. He started the same thing in his garage, and now when I talk to him, he feels personally responsible for like 35 people now because he's paying all their bills with these guitars, and it's kind of the way I feel here too, is for what we do is, we have our family and we have our kids and grandkid, and like, it mushrooms out. The effect that you have is not just buying a pickup or buying a guitar or buying a pedal, but it actually mushrooms out into actual people that you can like identify with, which I think is really, really neat. I mean, you can at Fender too. If Fender doesn't sell guitars, people get laid off. That sucks, so it's always about people. But for some reason with a smaller company, and when you can, I could make a list of about probably 10 people right now off the top of my head that directly are affected by when you buy a pickup from us. So I think that's really cool. I think that's a really neat thing to be a part of. And then the community surrounding it, all of you. Even as it grows, I still feel like we have a community that is more, I don't know. I've never liked the term fan. I've never liked the term fan base. I've never liked the term, any of that kind of stuff. Where if you join the Fender group on Facebook, it's got a different feel than if you join our group on Facebook. I just feel like everybody kind of knows everybody. Even though if we don't, it just feels that way. And I like that. And mine's not the only one, there's a lot of companies, small like that do that. And I like it a lot. What else you got over there? And if you have guitar questions not related to this, just get in the chat and ask them.
Well, are you going to let me ask them? Because they're asking them.
Let's do it.
You just started talking.
Nope, that's what I had.
Okay.
So let's just do it.
So combination of things. Just going back to what I grabbed earlier. Tazzy Tim says, I'm thinking of putting a treble bleed on a CTS push pull pot with your Bonnevilles. Thoughts? And doing the mod for tone on the bridge.
Yeah, do the tone mod on the bridge for sure. It's interesting to put a volume mod on a tone on a push pull. I've never done that. Try that.
A treble bleed.
Treble bleed. I mean, yeah, I'm curious to know how that works for you.
Ibg says, question, you've said Lawler makes decent wide range humbuckers, but theirs aren't humbucker sized. Is there an advantage to making them the same size as the old wide range humbuckers?
Those ones are very much more accurate. And I think what they were doing was just trying to make an upgrade to the ones that we know. You know, the ones that come in all of the reissue stuff for the most part until this latest batch with the actual Cuneife magnets in it. So all of your Squires, all of your made in Mexico stuff, most of that stuff all comes with kind of crappy pickups. And so Lawler was like, we need to make a replacement for those. And it is really good. It's not exactly the same as an original one, but it's really, really, really good. It's my favorite one of that size. I think it just comes down to form factor. If you want to put it in a regular humbucker hole, get mine. If you want to put it in a wide range hole, get his. That's what I would say.
Charlie G says, good evening. You too. Hope that you're both doing well. I just ordered your greenie pickups last week. Can't wait to install them.
Those shipped, so you should get them very soon.
Gary Redburn says, Dylan, what setting do you use to check impedance? I know you have a video on it, but I couldn't find it.
To check resistance, which is different than impedance because impedance is under load. Resistance, you use resistance, which is the ohm sign that looks like Mary Tyler Moore's hair.
Wow. I hope that makes sense to Gary because
it'll make sense to Gary.
Charlie G said I'm sure we were crossing paths. He's mentioning again, I ordered a set of greenie pickups from you. When I get them, do I mount the top one in the neck with the screws down or up towards the neck?
Doesn't matter. The magic is in the way the magnet is oriented in the pickup. So whichever way you flip that is not going to matter.
Cool. Matthew Altamere says, one of the problems with smaller companies, if you can't see or try it in person, you sort of have to rely on a short number of unbiased reviews.
Yeah. So the trick there, we were going to talk about some negatives, and I actually wrote some of that stuff down. Hang on, let me scroll back up because I have it right here. When it comes to, not being able to try stuff, when it comes to being unsure, a couple of things you do have to worry about is you have to worry about reviews, and spend some time in the community, right? You'll hear, like with us, and I know that there's a lot of other companies that do this that have really good social media community, is I always tell people, if I recommend your P90s or if I recommend my P90s or my center punches or whatever, get in the comments because I'm sure that there's somebody else in the comments besides me. Don't talk to me. Don't listen to me. Listen to them that has them. And that's why I think there's tons of reviews on our website now. And they're all real.
We do not pay or sponsor any reviews.
We do not pay. Yeah. We don't pay or sponsor any reviews. We do not do any pay for click stuff. We've never done any of that ever for anything. So every person on the website is a verified purchase, and I could actually go back and look. The website's actually really good at catching spam because it's caught some before, but I also check. Just so you know, I moderate every review that goes on the website, negative or positive. I don't moderate for negative or positive. I put them all up there because there are some things that, people are like, well, this was perfect except for, the screws weren't shiny enough, or, so there are various things that they, didn't like about it or whatever. So they gave it 4 stars instead of 5, or, whatever. And even we've done things like we've had customer service issues where somebody didn't think they got their thing fast enough or whatever. So I'll actually email that person and I'll handle that as a customer service situation. And then I will actually post the results of that conversation on the review. So, because our website allows us to do that, because I want to be 100% transparent. I want everybody to see how we handle stuff beyond just that, because that's one of the other objections is that people, you can't, because it's hard to trust, because there's so many small brands. So you kind of have to look for everybody. It's not just, like I said, it's not just us. You have to look through and decide, where am I going to send my money? I think about that when I order a knife or something, and you think about it when you order pickups. If I'm sending $350 to somebody, I would like to know that that's going to not go to waste, that I'm not going to get scammed, that I'm not going to, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
feel like this time of year is really bad.
yeah.
Because, for instance, I just bought some bags and wanted to buy a bag, thought it was an exclusive thing, decided not to buy said bag, then got ads for creepily similar said bags. And then you realize, wait, these are all resellers. Like, where did this bag come from? And it was just a very interesting find, just from pausing for a moment, or I would have never known.
There's a knife builder that I follow who built these exclusive, like, kind of like what we did with our anniversary pickups, and only made so many of them and then stopped making them. But because he knew he knew that A, he was going to really like the product and want to make more, and B, people weren't going to trust that he wasn't going to make them again. He said live on a live stream that I will cut the tool in half so that we do not make this knife again. And I'm like, yeah, those are the kinds of things that you have to do and look for and identify with. And otherwise things like that happen where you're like, wait, this is just a generic one of these, And sometimes you need that, I'm glad that I found that deck fireplace for $100 on Amazon, like that's cool. I didn't need like a super custom one of those. Like I'm glad. Yep. And it was the same as 10 other ones. I just found the cheapest, fastest one I could get.
Yeah.
So, that kind of stuff matters sometimes. But when we're talking about stuff, I just feel like the passion associated with guitar stuff and the fact that you're buying something that could potentially last like forever or the rest of your life, that's how much thought I put into it. When I design stuff and when I buy stuff.
Tazzy Tim says, strange. I still can't see your wide range pickups on your website.
Well, that's weird.
I haven't looked at.
I'm going to look right now.
Dated website.
I'm going to look right now because we don't want to have that problem. They're the very first one on the page.
What page?
On the humbucker page. So if you go to DylanTalksTone and you go to the drop-down menu and it says humbuckers, click humbuckers. It's the very first one, the Velo humbucker. And let's just make sure that it does not show.
I get a different thing every time I click it.
What?
I get that. And then if I click it again, same button, then it get that.
No. I'm at the menu. What are you?
That is the menu. This menu, not this menu?
This menu.
Well, you need to be more specific because that is, why is that different?
So that is a sitemap, and I don't understand why that shows up on your... Yeah, that's a sitemap. I don't understand why that shows up on your browser.
Well, that's what it does.
That must be why. So the little 3 bars is the menu. Go up there and click humbuckers, and you'll get there.
I do see it there.
So I will look at that sitemap thing and see why that's showing up there like that. I don't like that. And I also know why.
Never start on a menu. Why wouldn't you scroll the page?
Yeah, I know. I understand that. The problem is that we need to completely redo everything, and I don't know how. It's a whole thing. So we might have to look at that. I would love to completely ditch what
I thought you just redid your website.
I
Or
didn't.
you decided not to.
I have not, because it's the most overwhelming thing to me. I can do lots of stuff, but
Not a website.
no,
I'm about to be off for a week.
It's true. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that this weekend.
All right.
I'll pay you in bad gummy bears.
No, you will not. They are gone. I don't even think she liked them, by the way.
Oh, really?
Let's see. Oh, that's cool. People were helping as we were talking, I guess.
Thank you.
Ibji says, just look under humbuckers. And Vinny's World said, they're definitely there. I ordered a set.
He did.
David Kornblatt, how do you feel about Lindy Freyland's P92s or Twang Master humbuckers?
I think they're cool. I like Lindy Freyland's stuff. Yeah, I like them a lot.
Tessie Tim said, got it. Thanks. That's why I like dealing with a small business. Yeah, you just got troubleshooting live on.
Apparently.
That's funny. I didn't think about the irony of that right then. Pretty good. All right. What else you got? Did you finish talking about negatives?
Yeah, no, I've got a couple more. Hang on. Let me scroll back up to here.
As somebody who loves to start with the negatives.
Yeah.
I like the negatives.
Some people say that small builders can't match big brand consistency.
I thought of that when you said earlier something can feel like sterility, and I was like, but when is consistency not sterility? Like,
so that is often a conversation that I like to have about guitar stuff, because people want the perfection of a CNC made factory thing, because they want perfection.
but you better not use a machine.
But they want the handmade passion behind it.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't really have both.
Yeah.
And if you have both, it's very expensive. Like to make something by hand and have it machine perfect is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
It can be done. It is done. I've seen lots of products that are machine perfect, but handmade. McPherson acoustic guitar, for example, but it's $11,000. And there's a reason. I mean, I went to the factory and toured and saw the work that they put into making them perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is a thing, but the way we view that is our eyes and hands and ears are on every piece. So I know that there is imperfections in that because we are humans, but, we Brianna and I talk about this all the time. We check everything in between every step. Does something get by us once in a while? Yeah. But, wind it, check it, put the leads on it, check it again, like put it into the table. And then when it comes out of the storage and goes into the assembly side, check it again. Like we do. I mean, we have all these checks that we do. And to be honest with you, consistency. So, this is what really separates a good boutique builder from a not good boutique builder. So anybody can make one of something. Anybody can probably make 2 or 3 or 10 of something. We've made 20,000 at this point. So we've made 20,000. I'm right around 20,000 pickups. So, and the trick there is if you take a P90 off of the wall in Seattle and you take a P90 off the wall in St. Louis and you take a P90 off the wall in Florida, Miami, and you put them next to each other, they're all going to sound the same. That is not by accident. Like that takes a lot of work. That takes 10,000. What do they talk about? 10,000 hours of something before you're like really good at it. We've got way more than that in it. And not everybody, and I'm going to brag about that in a minute. Not everybody can do that. That's a thing that takes some time. I get people emailing me all the time. I had one today. Somebody emailed me and said, I need some ideas on suppliers because I'm going to start making my own pickups. And then they've immediately were like, where can I get the cheapest stuff? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that is, if that's the way you're approaching it, then you're going to have a really hard time. Right.
Because been there, done that.
Exactly. And there's a reason why stuff costs what it costs, because cheap stuff doesn't work. Small builders won't be around for warranty support. We've been around for 12 years and we are expanding and growing. We are not shrinking. So there you go. Small builders are more expensive. This is true. A couple reasons. Economy of scale is not with us. We do not make 10,000 of something at a time. We make 10 of something at a time, right? What did Brianna made?
I bet she made more than 10 today. That was a lot.
Yeah, she was rolling. She made bobbins for 13 or somewhere around there, 13 Velo humbuckers, right? Like that we sold in the last few days. So she was doing that today. But that means that we buy that stuff at a particular, however many of those we buy at a time. Fender buys them by the pallet, right? So we can't do that. So there's economy of scale. And here's what I always say. This is something that Seth and I used to talk about when we would ride motorbikes together. It's not about how much something costs. Okay. It's dollars per mile. So if you think about dollars per mile, you put it in your guitar and it's in there for years and years and years. If you will not remember in 6 months or a year that you paid $20 more for one of my P90s than for somebody else's, or that you paid, $2,900 or $3,000 for that guitar right there when you could have got something for less. That Texas Toast guitar right there, in 6 months, because of the dollars per mile ratio, you're not going to think about that little extra that you had to save up, or, little time extra that it took for you to get it or whatever. I think it's the investment kind of amortized over the long haul. You don't think about that stuff when you're getting real good stuff,
David Kornblatt said, speaking of McPherson, how do you feel about Ed Roman? I don't know who that is.
I don't care. He's dead.
Doc Silton said, as a builder, I have never made the guitar that is 100% perfect in each and every detail. There is always something, which I will likely be the only one to notice, that I'd change.
Yeah. And you know what? That's the way we want it. Right, Don? I was making a pickup today and I soldered a cover on, and I thought, the next one of those I do, I'm going to do this little thing so it looks this much better. And I did like 8 of them today, and they all look fine. They look great. But just, or I'll be across the desk from Brianna and I'll just tell her, hey, see how this piece of tape is on here? See if we can just move that a little, right? Or whatever. It might be some little detail, I'm not mad. I'm not upset. It's not wrong, but we're just like constantly making little tiny, hey, it gets better and better and better all the time. And so, and it's because you're chasing constant excellence, you know?
Tazzy Tim said, I make one-off guitars. That way I have no concerns with repeatability.
Well, you know what? There's something to that.
That's its own business model.
Exactly. Yes, that's true.
Gary Bertolo, outside of pickups, are you at all familiar with Geiger guitar supplementary parts for modding for quality and aesthetics?
I am. I have a guitar with some Geiger stuff on it. I don't. That stuff, that kind of whole genre of stuff, Chinese hardware and all, falls under a category for me that is this. It will probably be an improvement for many lower priced guitars. I do not use it because I don't do that really. So if I was a person who bought like a lot of Fireflies or Harley Bentons or stuff, then I would probably be more familiar and more into a lot of that hardware, because in those cases, those would be good improvements for those guitars. In a lot of cases, I just don't run in that circle, so I don't really have a thought about them. I think that stuff is fine. I think it's perfectly functional. I have a guitar with it on it. It was an $800 guitar from New Zealand. And he had to do that because he was trying to build a guitar for $800, and that's the hardware he used. And it's fine. And it's good for that price point and for what he was doing and everything else going on that guitar. I understand why he used it. Am I going to choose it for any of my projects? Probably not. But that's because I'm usually aiming a little more premium with my end goal. But like I said, for a lot of that inexpensive stuff, I think it's a pretty good improvement.
Yeah, Tazzy Tim said they can be hit or miss, but they are getting better.
Yeah, and I think you'll find, a lot of people give me a hard time because I don't really recommend all the really, really cheap stuff, right? But the way I feel about it is, would I recommend one of my friends to buy this or that? No. I would tell them, you know what, spend a few bucks extra and get this, because then you won't regret it. Then you don't have to worry about, is this one good enough or not? You just kind of skip that part and just get the good thing. That's what I would recommend to one of my friends. So that's what I recommend to you when you get recommendations from me. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but that is genuinely how I do it. Because it happens. My friends call me and say, hey, what would you do? Man, I wouldn't. To be honest with you, I wouldn't. Really? And then they do it anyway, and they'll call me in 3 months and be like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I shouldn't have. So,
Tim said the G-Babe has Geiger hardware.
Yeah. And so, Tim, that's a good example. That guitar, it's good, right? It's not hip shot, but it doesn't need to be. It fits that build perfectly. It's great. And it works, and it's nice looking. Right? It's just not premium stuff. And a lot of times I'm looking for kind of a premium option when I'm trying to do the stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah. Vinny's World said they have some neat and unique designs as well, but somewhat questionable aesthetics at times.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like Vinny knows a little about everything and probably a lot about whatever his specialty is.
He's an interesting guy because he really researches.
Yeah. No, I love it. He just
it.
seems very well-rounded.
Yes.
When he chimes in.
Well, he's a world traveler,
Well, that's true too.
Lived all over the world and seen a lot. And that always kind of fixes
cool.
everything,
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm fairly certain that most of the velos that are in process right now are going to ship on Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget there's a holiday next week.
I know. That's why I'm trying
Okay.
to get them out Wednesday.
Yeah, but that still means they're just going to sit.
I know.
Did you have more negative? Are you done?
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay, you have 5 minutes left.
Blow through some questions.
No, there's none to blow through.
Oh, really? The dog didn't even come and visit us tonight. He did a
couple times. He just didn't jump up.
He didn't jump up here and say hi. Now he's knocked out on the floor. So.
Yep.
Yeah. This is a fun conversation to have. The reason I was thinking about it is Matt and I were having a conversation the other day about what drives somebody in a certain direction as kind of a practice, right? So there are some folks who like go down the whole real inexpensive modding platform road. Some folks like real custom-y stuff. Some folks like real unique stuff. I like things that not everybody's going to have. I don't need to be like all emo about it or anything, but I do think that when I buy something, it's got to grab me. Like, I'm not just going to go buy a black Strat because even though I don't have one, it's just not special enough for me. I just want something a little more special. And, which doesn't always need to be expensive. It just needs to be special in my mind, if not nowhere else. So
you can't define that as what you're saying.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know it until you see it.
When you know.
Exactly. And Matt and I were talking about that, like who are those people and where are they? And, some folks just really, all they care about is how much something costs. And I get that. That's a place too. And just trying to kind of figure out all these various ways that people make decisions on what they're buying. And so I was thinking about that, like what drives somebody to just go to Guitar Center. And maybe it's education. Maybe they don't know, right? Like until they know. And then they're like, oh, wait, there's this whole new world out there of really neat stuff.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Tazzy Tim said, what would you put a set of your velos in?
They would go really, really well in like an Epiphone Sheridan or some kind of 335 kind of thing. Well, they'll work just about anywhere. Here's what I'll tell you is that they are kind of single coily sounding. I'm going to put them in a Telecaster in the neck position and a probably a Widowmaker in the bridge. That's what I'm going to be my next move. I've got a guitar that I'm putting together for that. And they would pair well with a DAF. They would also pair well with an Enduro or a humbucker size P90, which would be super cool. So it's all about clarity and kind of that single coil sound. I think they'd be cool in kind of like a faux Duesenberg setup. So if you did like a humbucker bridge and one of these in the neck, you would kind of have a really versatile guitar. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I think we have 2 minutes left.
Cool.
Do you have an after hours question that just came in?
Do we?
We have a couple minutes.
All right.
For folks to
get a couple more questions in.
Maybe. Do you have any final thoughts?
No. I say obviously use caution when you are researching small brands because you don't want to get ripped off. I hate for that to happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking for, even if I don't participate in the community, I kind of look for that now. I think it's because of what we do. I'll look for small brands and.
Well, I mean, that's my whole job still.
I suppose.
So it is important to me too.
Yeah. So like if I see a fountain pen brand or a pocket knife brand or a whatever, I kind of go and look and I'm like, dang, this community that's into this stuff, they're super into it. Like when you have kind of the, you know,
Streaming.
the Nighthawk fanatic or the, you know, the, I don't know, Microtech fanatic or the who knows what fanatic, and it's a whole crowd, you're like, okay, people are really into this thing and it's really cool. Got the dog over here dreaming on the floor. Kind of running in his sleep and...
I feel like every time I want to capture it, then he stops.
Yep. Why am I yawning?
Curtis Chavez says, in the demo, did we hear the velo in both bridge and neck position?
You did.
Doc Stilton said velos in a thin line telly would be awesome.
Yes. Yes, they would.
And last question. How does one install, Dog Doctor Tim, how does one install a 0 fret?
The best way to do it is I would use, what is the name of it, everybody? I don't want this to sound dirty because I can't remember what the name of it's called, but is it called Zero Glide? I'm pretty sure it's called Zero Glide, and it's a plastic nut that goes against there's a couple different formats for them, and it has a groove machined out of it that then it comes with a few different fret sizes based on the fret sizes that are on your guitar. And then you can do this kind of aftermarket, and it's retrofittable. So you can like take it off. I think it's called Zero Glide, and you could take it off and put the regular nut back on it and be able to experiment. And it's a reversible sort of thing. Check that out.
Okay. Yeah. 0 Glide.
Yep. Okay. Off topic hour is here. If you have questions that don't have anything to do with guitars, ask them. If you have a guitar question after 9 o'clock, it has to be in a super chat. So that's a thing. I'm going to put the little off topic hour thing up there.
Sure.
And then you said an off topic hour question came in.
I did.
Excellent.
Curtis Chavez says, Dylan, did you fix the snake's light to where he can't knock it down?
Nope. I have not touched it since last week because he's not knocked it down since last week.
That's funny.
Yeah. He knocked it down during the live stream last week. He climbed up on it. Everybody saw it happen. He was like all,
they would ask.
Yeah, he was all sprawled out on top of it and it all came crashing down. It's like, because I'd never seen it happen either. I've heard it.
The result of.
Yeah. And I've seen the result, but I've never actually seen it happen. So that happened.
Now you know how he's doing it, huh?
We moved so you might see him in videos from now on every once in a while, but we moved our crested gecko into the shop. So he's next to my desk now. So hopefully, well, he'll get better taken care of in there. He was in a certain spot in the house that was just like, ended up being sort of out of sight, out of mind for me. And I couldn't really enjoy him that much. So I was like, let me put him next to my desk. So every time I'm sitting there working, I can check him out. So he's been, I think, a lot happier lately.
Matthew Altamir immediately. So what was the off-topic Dyson story?
Oh, so I got to meet that guy years ago. Me and my business partner were. This is funny. So, me and my business partner, we were working on some airflow stuff for Kian slide carburetors for dirt bikes. And we were working on some stuff for a throttle body for a fuel injected four-wheeler. And my business partner, he is super, super fascinated with airflow. And so, because that's kind of what our thing is. So we actually went and bought, I think, 3 or 4 different Dyson vacuum cleaners and took them all apart and learned all about them and stuff, and ended up meeting that guy that you see on the commercials. And he's weird. Like he's super into vacuum cleaners. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot from him because, you know, understanding airflow and stuff. And it's crazy because even to this day, I'll look at some of those products and I'm just like, how does that thing even work? I know how it works now because I spent a lot of time with it, but you know, those fans with no middle, you know, for example, or your blow dryer that you have, like that stuff is wild. It's pretty neat, you know? Yeah.
Let's see.
That's the whole story.
I gave him $1. Says, I'm an Aussie. I'm home from minor, I guess, surgery on my left hand from work. I'm a tradie and I'm a righty. It's killing me. I can't play. Look after your hands, people.
Dude, no joke. And I'm having some nerve issues in my hand and I don't know what to do about it yet.
Matt Sanders says, how's the doggy doing?
He's good. He's right there. He's running in his sleep as we speak. His arms are moving.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he's ripped. Maybe I need to run in my sleep. That'd be the only way I'm going to run. All right. What's your off-topic stuff?
I don't have anything, man.
That's not very exciting.
Bought a new grill this week. That's probably the big thing. We've been cooking like every day.
Are you doing a show next Thursday?
I was gonna probably.
Okay, I didn't know. I just while they're here.
Probably because by this time of the night, a lot of folks do
need a break.
I swear every time we say we're not going to, and then we do it, it ends up being really fun.
Yeah.
So you know, on a holiday like that, especially Thanksgiving, because it's always Thursday, right? So yeah. So we'll probably do a Thanksgiving show because we usually do. We're not really doing anything. So
sounds good.
Yeah.
Just thought of that. Britton says, I always join 10 seconds after no guitar questions begins.
Must be on the wrong time zone. Or, I mean, must be on a time zone that puts him in the place to be like, dang it, I should have showed up an hour ago. That's okay.
Doc says he's having issues with his left index finger and he's seeing a chiropractor for it. And so far it's helping. The body is incredible.
I'm running into some nerve issues with my, it's weird. It's on a linear axis like this. So this side of my thumb is fine. This side of my thumb is numb. I don't know.
He's not seeing anybody about it.
Yeah, I've not. And it's the same thing on my toe.
That's been longer.
Yeah, the toe's been longer.
I'm surprised you have toes.
Yeah. So because of my spinal injury, I have a bunch of nerve problems, especially in my right foot. Yeah, this morning I was in your office and I stepped on a dog toy and I was like, what was that noise? And she's like, you didn't even feel yourself step on that toy? And I'm like, nope. I don't know. It's weird. I can feel like right now I'm, you know, got my feet here. I can feel all kind of stuff, but sometimes, yeah, you would think I would have ripped my right little toe off as many times as I've kicked something in the middle of the night or or in the middle of the day. It's like I don't know where that right extremity is. Like if I'm going around a corner or something, I don't know what it is, but man. Yeah.
Vinny's World said, are you going to do your Black Friday thing this year?
What did we do last year? I was trying to think about that.
Did you do a live or something?
We did do a live stream. And I was trying to decide if I did that. I guess that we did it on Friday morning, huh? So yeah.
You just like
literally
you look at other sites.
Yep. Looked at other sites, looked at a bunch of, affiliate links, looked at a bunch of stuff that I was personally interested in, even if it was off topic, just kind of showing a bunch of stuff that I thought was cool. Yeah, we probably will. Probably do that. Make some coffee Friday morning.
I mean, there will be coffee whether you do that or not.
Yeah, we probably will do that.
There just might be alcohol in the coffee.
Oh, because that'll be Friday night for him. Or yeah.
Yeah. If you do it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'm going to check our caramel supply of things.
Oh, okay.
Home all week.
It's right down there.
There is a supply. That was
I think there is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Brianna likes it too. So I was thinking there might not be. Let's see.
Yeah, next week's gonna be a weird week.
It's going to be amazing. Dog Dr. Tim said, I don't mean to be cheeky, but is Thanksgiving an affront to Native peoples? Do you observe it?
I do not formally observe it, no. However, because it is a important weekend, to family and stuff, oftentimes, we'll have people around and do various things. But no, I do not formally observe
Nothing traditionally.
Yeah. No.
I don't even know. I guess
Right.
it wouldn't be for us anyway, since we don't eat any of that food anyway.
Right. But yeah,
Or
we
would
don't.
be. Yeah.
But I also don't, a lot of people think that, okay, so if you're Native American on Thanksgiving, then you're going to be all about it, and I'm just not. I just choose to.
I don't think it means anything to anybody, really, is why.
No,
it probably doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Yeah. And it probably even means less to me. I don't sit around and watch documentaries about why it's terrible or anything. Like, I don't do that kind of stuff. And I certainly don't rain on anybody else's day.
Oh, it's a national holiday? Day off.
Yeah.
If the mail doesn't run, he's like, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I'm like, dang it, there's no mail. Because, that's work. So coming in and going out parts wise and stuff. But yeah. And I obviously, I never say anything against anybody else to what they want to do with that day.
So Doc says he doesn't. I'm not Native, but people I respect deeply are, so I stopped.
Yeah, no, I
get that. I thought Canadian Thanksgiving was a different day.
It is.
Okay. I guess that would make sense. I was about to say something I forgot. Oh, I was just going to say I'm off all week because we have wellness days before Thanksgiving holiday. So it ends up being a week off, which is really nice because nobody's working. So you're not getting behind on anything.
Yeah, because they kind of schedule it all together. When I lived in Arizona, we it was a big weekend for us. We would a couple of our buddies from Tennessee and Kentucky would come and visit. We would I actually would end up sleeping at my other friend's house, and we would go four-wheeling, and it was also a very expensive weekend for me. Usually I would end up
it still is for me
blowing up a rear end or burning up a clutch or breaking an axle or so it was always $1,000 breaking something.
Steve B says, hello everyone. I'm looking at ProTech pocket knives. I've only done a little research so far. Is there a big difference between 154 cm and MagnaCut? Looks like MagnaCut is a little bit harder.
MagnaCut and 154 cm are not even in the same league. That being said, for most people who use a pocket knife as a normal pocket knife, it's not that big a deal. 154 cm is easier to touch up than MagnaCut because it is harder. It's also tougher, as in, I know you're not going to put your knife in something and like pry with it, but it's not going to. MagnaCut's not going to chip on the edge as much, etc. That being said, it's probably almost twice as much.
Yeah.
So,
And if you're starting with ProTech, it's going to be good anyway.
yes.
Those are my favorite.
Yes. We have between all three of us, we have 20 ProTechs, I think. 20 or 20. This is a ProTech right here. 20 or 22 or something right in there. We have a lot of them. And all of them are, you can't go wrong with any of them. There's not a bad one at all in the bunch. I'm curious to know what one you want. Because if you're looking at a particular model and then trying to decide on 154 CM or Magna Cut, that might be a thing too. So tell me what model you're looking at.
Ibji says, ever camp outside a store waiting for Black Friday? Have you done that?
No, I've not done that. We have gotten up really early.
I was going to say I've never camped, but have I been in a line before a store opened? Yes. And I used to love when stuff opened in the middle of the night.
We used to do that.
I don't feel like it happens anymore.
No, we used
but
to.
Yeah, that I love people.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have been a psychologist or something, but watching people is fascinating to me. So
I used to take the kids at like
chances like that.
midnight on Thursday and all that kind of stuff, just for the fun of it, not even for any.
Yeah, it literally was just fun.
It was just for fun.
The best year I remember was they were old enough to just be like, go get what you want.
I know what you're going to say.
And it was just like, it was all they could carry though. We didn't have like
buggies or anything. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm expecting them to take advantage of us, right? Like, okay, they want to spend money. And Bryson just comes back with like an armful of sweatpants. I was like,
yeah, it was
like, I just want
sweatpants, a couple of hoodies, and a video game, I think.
He was like, this is what I want. I was like, okay.
Yep.
Doc says, what's the blue treatment on that blade?
This is a PVD coating that is it's something that ProTech does on some of their blades. This is actually a Blade Show 2025 special edition thing. This actually, most of their knives are automatic, but this is a manual. I have the automatic version of this knife too, but this is a manual.
I missed Tim's question. Tazzy Tim said, how is the weather over there now? We are coming into summer, but living in Tasmania, it only lasts 5 days. Well, yesterday was 85 degrees here.
It's 63 now. Yep. It's going to be 56 tonight. And I know this is Fahrenheit and you're a Celsius guy, I think. But
yeah, it's going to be almost 80 all week.
Yep.
So
it's cooler at night than it has been. So it's in the 50s and 40s at night, but it's still pretty warm during the day.
Oh, Steve B said, I've looked at the TL5, TR3, SWAT, or maybe a Duke 2. I don't want to spend more than that $250 to $300.
What did he say?
TL5, TR3. TR3 SWAT. Maybe that goes together.
TR3 SWAT, that's the black one.
And Duke 2.
He doesn't want to spend how much?
He doesn't want to spend more than $250 to $300.
Yeah, okay. So the TR5, the TR3, the Duke 2 is small. It's like 2 inches. In that more basic range, I would get actually the automatic of this one.
Yes, they're right there at our fingertips.
Yeah, this is probably the move. If you want like a good daily user, is this the TR2 or the TR3? But this guy right here is probably the jam. This is 154 CM. And I think it's a TR2. This might be the TR3, and this is the TR3 Integrity. The TR3 and the TR2 are very, very similar though, but these knives are pretty awesome. So this is the manual one, but I actually think the manual one's more expensive. This one was $190. And it is real good. It hits super hard.
Which is a ProTech thing if you haven't had one.
Yeah, if you've not had a ProTech, they are all like this. And then the other one that I would recommend if you want to get a manual is the Malibu, because the Malibu is like the standard for all manual button locks, button lock flippers. I have 2 Malibus and they are unbelievable, but one of them is like $350 because it's a special one. Actually, both of them are, but the basic ones of those is under $200 or right around $200. But if I was going to get a manual, or if I was going to get an automatic that I was going to use all the time, it would be this guy right here. That's why I got this. Actually, I have a bunch of ProTechs. I have lots of them. And a lot of them are fancy, polished blades and various pretty things. And like, cause I collect them, right? But I wanted one that didn't matter if it got beat up, didn't matter if it so this is kind of the one I actually use the most. I carry all of them, but a lot of them are kind of dress knives. Where this one is like a real pocket knife that I use for real stuff all the time. Yep. And 154 CM, yes, it doesn't have the edge retention of MagnaCut, but it's super easy to touch up. It's very easy to touch up. And one of the reasons why ProTech uses 154 CM this is actually a very expensive knife with 154 CM, but the reason they use 154 CM is because it is very easy to mirror polish. 154 CM takes a very good mirror polish, and so that's why they use 154 CM for a lot of stuff. Yep.
Curtis Chavez says recommended steel for an EDC pocket knife that will sometimes be pressed into food hole punching duty. I would want a thin blade profile with enough spine thickness to survive heavy use. Recommended steel for that.
MagnaCut. Yep,
On
MagnaCut.
here.
Dust.
That's dirt. Dust is not brown.
So it sits below the snake right there, and yeah. MagnaCut for sure, or like S45 VN or S35 VN, something like that.
I'm gonna hide in your office. He loves that bed.
He does. Yep, I like me some pocket knives.
That's it. I'm all caught up.
Oh, I gave Brianna a Zippo yesterday, so she's been flipping that thing all. We were watching TV last night. She's like clicking it the entire time. I'm like, yep, that's my kid. Well,
What else you got?
that's all I got, really. I didn't have a whole lot tonight. So
All right. I'm good too. I'm always good to go.
I get it.
Literally.
Well, thanks for hanging out, you guys. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow.